Hello, my name is David Brevik, and I've been in the video game business for 30 years now. I am probably best well known for being the president of Blizzard North and the creator of Diablo. I've also been in charge of other projects, creator of Hellgate London and Marvel Heroes and a bunch of other projects, longtime industry veteran. And what I'm up to now is that I'm the president of Skystone Games, which is a publisher, but it's different than other publishers out there. We provide the kind of usual services that other publishers do, such as marketing and PR and community support and those kind of things, as well as funding. But we're what I would like to call a developer-led publisher. And what I mean by that is that you get me to be kind of an executive producer on your team, which is, allows me to give you feedback, guide you through processes, because I've done it before. I've created games and been through the entire development process many times, and can help give my wisdom and experience to the team. And so that's mainly what I've been up to recently is working on that. Right before that, I was also created my own game, an indie project, which I did everything by myself. I did all of the art and music, sound, programming. I created my own engine. That game is called It Lurks Below, and it's been out for about 2 years now. Well, my happiest memory of working on Diablo was, well, it's pretty easy, actually. Originally, when we pitched Diablo, the idea was that it was going to be a turn-based game. Diablo comes from, the kind of the genesis of the idea comes from playing games like Rogue, which is where the term roguelike comes from, and Moria, Angband, NetHack. There's a bunch of these style of games where there weren't any graphics. This is a long time ago in the mid-80s, where on kind of Unix computers and things like that, where you would play at let's say, at symbol attacking the letter K for Cobalt kind of thing. And you would, but they would have randomly created dungeons and items and stuff like that. And I really loved those games. I played many, many, many hours, and kind of wanted that to capture that kind of spirit when we originally created the Diablo pitch. Kind of an updated, modern version of that was the idea in a nutshell. Eventually, we ended up signing a contract with a team that was originally called Silicon and Synapse, but changed their name to Blizzard. And we signed the contract to make Diablo. And about 6 months into development, they approached us and asked us, "Hey, what do you think about maybe changing this from a turn-based game to real-time?" And turn-based was just I couldn't even imagine it, because those where the history and design of Diablo came from, those were all turn-based games, and I really valued the fact that it was turn-based, because it made for a lot of tension. These games had permadeath, so when you created a character and you worked on them for several weeks, and then you got yourself into trouble inevitably, and then you're kind of, well, what do I do? You got up, it was turn-based. I go, they go, that kind of thing. So, now I'm in big trouble here. I've spent 2 weeks on this character. It's gonna die. What am I gonna do and so you would get up from the keyboard, think about it. You'd ponder what to do. You look at your inventory. Was there anything that I can do to kind of save myself in this situation? And I love the strategy of that, as well as kind of the gut-wrenching moment of the possibility of losing, a couple weeks worth of work on your character. And so turning it to real time, I thought was laughable, because it would ruin everything that the game the tension in the entire game. But I brought it up to the team and talked about it, and they talked about it, around the office and stuff, and there was kind of a growing swell. We were only about maybe between 15 and 20 people at the time, and there was kind of a ground swelling of people like, oh, I think real time might be interesting, and so eventually we got together in the kitchen and had a vote and decided that we would change the game to real time. We voted, and I was really outnumbered, and there were a few of us that still wanted turn based, but it was probably like 15-3 or something. It was like overwhelming amount of people wanted to try real time. So we sent everybody home, and I told them that it's going to take me a little while to get it working, but I was able to get it working in one evening, and changing it from real time, from turn-based to real time. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was using this kind of warrior with a mace, and there was a skeleton on the other side of the screen, and I clicked on the skeleton, and my character walked over and swung the mace and like shattered the skeleton apart and animated and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my God, this is so much better than I ever realized. It felt so good to click the mouse and like swing your sword. I just sat there and did it over and over and over again. And I was like, oh my God, this is so much better than turn-based. I don't care that it's ruining the quote-unquote strategy and depth or whatever. This is just really too cool. And it was, it was kind of like the angels cried out from beyond, and the clouds parted, and the rays of sunshine came in through the window. This glorious moment, and so I think that's probably my favorite, happiest moment of working on Diablo. I think that most of the time when people come to me and say, well, how would you get started in the video game industry? My answer is usually the same, and that is just as if a writer says, hey, I want to be a writer someday. Well, then go write something. If you want to be a filmmaker, go make a film. If you want to be a video game creator, go make a video game. And by that, I mean, get together with people to do game jams or whatever. So whatever your skill is, if you're a programmer or a designer or an artist or a musician or whatever it is, and you want to make games, the best way to start is by hooking up with some people in the community. There are lots of different forums and boards and sites that regularly throw game jams. Try them yourself. Like you can. A lot of these new modern engines, it doesn't take much programming expertise to make almost anything. And so I would say trying to, and there's lots of like marketplaces and even free sprites and stuff like that out there that you can put together at least a demo. So making games is the most important thing, and really going through a game jam, meeting some people in the community, working together on a small team, making a little indie product. Those kind of things are vital lessons in learning how to make games. It is a difficult business, and there is nothing more difficult than actually finishing a game. Takes a Herculean effort to actually finish a game. It is incredibly, when you're 90% done, then you have 90% left. It is really very difficult. So getting through those stages of actually completing something, working together, finding your community, finding some people to do stuff with, getting a group together to make a game jam style game is really my best advice. Make some games, get some experience, and then go out and try and apply or start a company of your own with some of the community that you've met. But the important thing is to actually start creating. For me, it isn't about necessarily having a degree, though that does help. It is about having two things. One is the passion to do this, It is so important. It's so difficult. The games industry is extremely difficult right now. It is really easy to create a game and distribute your game, and so many people are doing it. There are over 1,000 games released across all platforms every week. So that's 50,000 games a year now. And so because of that, it's highly competitive. So developing kind of a thick skin and a good attitude and perseverance are all things that really help. It's more than just that, though. It's I would say it takes more than just that. It takes other things too. It takes having a degree, having some experience, getting out there and making games are really important. Taking, for your career, going out and proving that you can make something, that you can get it published. Like all of this stuff, you've learned lessons, helps you kind of advance your career. It depends. There are different paths you can take with your career, but anything that is kind of development related there, getting experience is probably the most important thing. For an artist, it's specializing in whatever kind of art you want and having an excellent portfolio. For a programmer, it's showing competence with your programming, and that means technically being able to make sure that there are no, major bugs, and that the video quality is great, and the frame rate is good, and the gameplay seems snappy. Those kind of things. If it's UI, being able to interact with a game and understand it. If it's a designer, making sure that goals are clear and the gameplay is fun and there's depth and strategy to your game. If it's sound, making sure that it's appropriate for the environment and how visceral does it make you feel. The heart and soul of a game is sound and music, so I think that those are important things to really make sure that it's the feelings you get when you're playing a video game. If it's story, excellent writing, taking into account the medium, that's writing for video games is very different than other things. So I think that each discipline has different things that you need to specialize in to advance your career, and showing your abilities to do that well are important and will advance you more than anything. Well, I think the best thing about working in the games industry is that it's a lot of fun. I love doing it. It's all I've ever wanted to do. Ever since I was a little kid, I'm one of those weird people that knows what they want to do at 12, and it never changed. And I love it. And I love the actual. There are several things about it I love the most. I would say maybe three things. One is that I love the way that the technology changes and the kind of freshness of the devices and things like that. The technology changing in the video game industry has been insane. It is so different now than the way it used to be, and I love being kind of on the cutting edge of video games. And then secondly, I would say that I love entertaining people. I love making games that make people happy and they have fun, and so I love that about it. And then lastly, I would say that the thing I love about it the most is actually creating. I love making something and feeling like I'm making something. It's very rewarding to create, and that's always been my passion, is about making something and feeling good about achieving that.